Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Hi if you're new here, hi if you're not. My name's Danielle and today we're gonna look at some scammy coaches saying scammy stuff all over the internet. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so first up we have a video with the caption, story time of how I built my current online business and went from broke to $100,000 in 6 months. This should be good.
So someone asked me how I went from broke to $100,000 in 6 months. Now looking back, I could have honestly done it in 3 months, but you live and you learn. So let's rewind. At the time that I was broke, I was running a product-based business. I was basically fueling this through my modeling gigs. Every time I managed to get a big campaign, I would get that money and then I would reallocate that into inventory in my business. But this did mean every time I was wiped clean. The problem with starting product-based businesses is they require a lot of money up front. So after I spend all of the money on inventory, I would then need money for marketing. But as I just mentioned, I was back down to zero, so I would not have any money to spend on collaborators and shipping, all that kind of jazz. So to put it simply, it was very difficult to keep that business afloat. And simultaneously at that time, the place I was living at got sold, so I had to move out of there. Keep in mind, I was yet again moving in and out of zero in my bank account. So the only place I could afford at that time was a share home to make sure that I don't get evicted from not being able to pay rent. Let me show you some photos. Like, this was the bedroom.
Does she not realize how a majority of people live? Also, why do they all have this super dramatic backstory? I hate it.
That was my room. That's it. That little cubicle. This was a nasty kitchen. There was very little light coming into the room. That was probably the worst living situation I had been in. I mean, I've been in some pretty rough situations. I had lived in houses with mold with my family, but that was the worst. So again, I needed a way to make money, but I was down to zero, so I needed to figure out a way to be extremely resourceful. Then came the glorious idea of finally just selling my skills online.
There it is. Let's stop doing the thing and let's start selling the idea of the thing.
This would mean I would have 0 to very minimal startup costs. And given I had accumulated all these marketing strategies and business strategies to grow businesses, but the missing piece was that I did not have enough money to fuel the business itself, I decided to actually sell my skills to people who were ready to invest in their business. So I got scrappy. I pitched myself, I cold emailed, I did all the things. And each new client that I gained, I was not only gaining confidence, but also the momentum to build and keep pushing forward. I eventually pushed to the point I was working with the largest marketing agency in Web3, working with 8-figure valuation startups. And eventually I even pitched to Gucci. I was helping to reevaluate the digital strategy in Web3 and also the digital products. This is when I was absolutely starting to fall in love with digital products and SaaS companies because there was no inventory. There was no warehouse. I did not have to ship anything.
Okay, I have no problem with people taking a skill that they've learned and then selling that to people. And it sounds like that's how she started, was like a freelance consultant. Good for her.
So what do you do when you fall in love with something? You go all in. But I had one problem. I was making a ton of money, but I was so freaking exhausted from being in meetings back to back all the time. So that's when I switched business models from providing one-on-one client services, creating digital programs.
So I no longer was doing consulting. Instead, I was teaching other people how to get into consulting.
So I help other entrepreneurs launch and build their businesses. I was initially just helping people in Web3 launch their projects, but I realized I can reach way more people and help more people out. Because ultimately, digital courses help many businesses to scale. You can create it once and sell it to multiple different people. That means you get your time back, you can scale your income, and you can create more freedom. And yes, I admit, if I didn't have to do so many trial and errors of figuring out what framework works for me, I probably could have made the $100,000 in 3 months. Not that hard if you have the correct framework to follow.
But again, I don't like this because it really, to me, oversimplifies the idea of putting in the time and the work to become a true expert in a particular field and then packaging it into a sellable skill. So she's saying she could have hit 100K in 3 months instead of 6 months, but didn't you need that 6 months to actually, do the consulting work before you started teaching other people how to do the consulting work? Not that I support the idea of the business model whatsoever, but let's just pretend I did. I don't like this idea of just thinking you can call yourself an expert when you're not actually an expert and then package it into a course and sell it. I hate it here. And you might be watching this and you might be thinking like, Danielle, she didn't even say that's what she sells. I'm telling you this because I'm on her profile and it says grow an online business through digital courses. So she has made $100,000 by selling a course, teaching other people how to create their own course to then teach other people whatever the thing is that they're teaching people. Like, it's a pyramid. Where is the actual value transfer? Somebody please explain. Ooh, let's get into the next video.
I didn't just become a multi-million-dollar CEO at 25 years old on accident. Let's talk about how I did it.
Okay, for context, this creator I actually used to have a lot of respect for. She's very educated in the realm of sales and marketing, and I've actually learned quite a bit from just watching her free content online. However, I've noticed in the last 6 months or so, she's really started to associate with some more of these scammy coaches people who I featured on this channel before. And since then, the context of her content has really shifted more into the how to become a millionaire versus actual tangible marketing strategies for small business.
I am often asked how I was able to go from freshly divorced, living on my own in a tiny little studio apartment, barely being able to afford my rent, eating one meal a day so that I could literally feed my dog.
Again, same as we saw in the last video, very dramatic rags to riches story.
To now, 3 years later, being able to be the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, because that happened in a very short period of time. Think about the amount of businesses that actually make it past the 5-year mark. And then think about the amount of those businesses that are female founded that actually make it to the 7-figure, if not multi-7-figure mark in more than 5 years. Like, what we have done is pretty major. But it was also not by accident. We were very intentional about how we grew the business. We were very intentional about what it was that we were doing, the strategies that we were using, and essentially treating our business like a marketing and sales machine. What most business owners don't understand is that in order to globally expand, first and foremost, you always have to prioritize your marketing and your sales. There will be people who will say that you need to prioritize your offer suite, or you need to prioritize product development or client experience or any of those things. Those things will grow and refine as you go.
She's not wrong in saying that. I think a lot of the times as small business owners, we tend to focus a lot on what it is we're offering, tweaking our product, tweaking our service, and not spending enough time actually selling that product or service. And so in saying that essentially you won't be successful if you don't sell, she's not wrong.
If you cannot make sales from your marketing, you don't have a business. So in order to globally expand our business and hit multiple 7 figures next year, we have an even higher revenue goal. There were 4 things that we focused on nailing and mastering in order to really get this to a point where our sales are locked in. Like, we know exactly what it takes to create sales, and that is strategy, energy, consistency, and production. So let's talk about all 4 of these. Strategy, you have to have the right strategy, not just for creating sales anymore. If you are at the multiple 7-figure level and you are trying to scale globally, it's no longer about just creating sales. It's about how many sales can I create from one piece of content, and how can I get the max amount of the right eyes onto my brand or business with the same amount of content that I've been putting out. Once you get to this level, you should have sales nailed. So it's no longer about, oh, how do I create a sale? It's like, how can I get as many eyes onto my brand and business as possible and get them to trust me and buy from me that much faster? Energy.
Here we go. Manifestation, baby. Believe your way to success.
You have to show up as if you have already globally expanded. Every morning I have a massive routine that I do.
Let me guess. She writes in her journal 5 things she's most grateful for. She makes a list, a journal entry, as if she already has the things she wants. She writes the list of all of the things she would buy and the life she would live if she was a millionaire. I'm sorry, I'm making fun of this. I do believe in journaling. I think there's power in like writing down your goals and having a set focus on whatever it is you want to achieve. I just like to make light of the fact that so many of these like manifestation girlies believe that if you write down things as if they've already happened, they're just magically going to happen. And it kind of discredits the fact that you actually have to put in action to make the things you want come true.
To show up as our multiple 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure CEO, then you have to stay consistent.
Okay, that's fair.
Anyone who's gotten to this point in business understands that it does not just happen overnight. It takes consistency. It took me 90 days of posting without results on TikTok for me to start to see momentum when I first started my account, and it's no different at this level of business. Lastly is production, which is typically the biggest bottleneck for business owners at this point because you are so busy doing everything else a CEO needs to do. You don't have time to get content out. If you want to learn how we can globally expand your brand, link is in bio.
Okay, so I don't really know if anything she said was like inherently problematic, but as with any of the content that I like to talk about on this channel, I think there is like an air of skepticism you have to have in really thinking about, okay, what is the intention of this person sharing this content? And I say this in a lot of my videos, but if any sort of like marketer that you're looking to take advice from is leading their content with, I made X amount of dollars in my business, they're doing so as a tactic to get you to believe that you can have the same results as them. And I've said this probably 100 times by now, but business is not truly duplicatable. What worked for me in my business to help me make $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 is not going to be guaranteed to work in your business. And that is because we are different people. We have different businesses. We operate in different markets. And so just because I was able to hit 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures does not mean I have some secret formula that you're going to be able to replicate and then get the same results. And videos like this isn't against this creator in particular, but just in general, because I've seen this hundreds of times, videos like this make the viewer, especially those who are unknowing or vulnerable and really just desperately want their business to succeed, it leads them to believe that they just have to do what this person did to reach $1 million and they'll be able to reach $1 million too, when the reality is we know this is not true.
For all my ladies, let's talk about how to make your own money this year so you can have the best year of your life. And I built a multi-six-figure business in my 20s. I used to make $500 a single month, and I've hit $50,000 in one single month in my business.
Okay, where and when were you living where you could live off $500 a month? Here's the thing. This is my theory that a lot of these people use when they're like,
oh, I used to make $50 a week or whatever, $500 a month.
They're talking about like the first job they had when they were 14 and still in high school and lived with their parents. I don't know if that's true, but I'm just like, as an adult, how could you possibly be making $500 a month and be surviving? This story doesn't make sense to me.
And all of these business ideas, they require zero capital to start. So ladies, you can literally start today and start to make money. Right now, you have a skill that people are willing to pay you money for, to learn from, or you have a solution to a problem they're searching for.
Do I though? Who says that I have a skill that is worth money to other people? Some people legitimately don't, especially, again, if we go back to her own example, if I was working a job where I was only making $500 a month, I'm guessing that I'm working a minimum wage job and I'm probably working very part-time for me to be making such little money. It is highly unlikely that I have a skill that is valuable enough for me to charge people in order to make, what did she say, $50,000 a month? I'm not buying it.
Odds are you're probably already doing this skill at your job, and you can literally coach in any of these areas. All you have to do is craft out a coaching offer, and then just like what I'm doing, start creating content on social media, build your audience, and you will start to attract clients like that. This is a really fun category because this can be anything from journals, templates, ebooks, guides, art, literally anything that you can send someone digitally. You might already have something that you can sell digitally, or you can come up with it. So even if you are like a coach, for example, I have a course on how to grow your Instagram. I have a course on how to sell. I have journals. I have ebooks that I sell. So you can literally take what you already have or create one and start to sell it on social media.
But again, if I don't have a particular skill or level of expertise in any subject, I'm not going to be able to package that up into a digital product that people are going to want to buy. And here's the other thing. This really leans into the passive income conversation, which drives me absolutely up the wall. And it's essentially this idea that
anyone can make a digital product and start to make thousands of dollars a month.
no. This is coming from someone who sells digital products. In order to be successful in selling your digital product, you need to have an engaged audience that actually wants the thing that you are selling. And so yes, like she said, you can show up, you can create social media content around whatever the particular problem is that your ideal client faces, but it is going to take a significant amount of time and effort in order to build not only a large enough audience, but an audience that trusts you enough to want to give you their hard-earned money. And yes, there are the like outlier cases where someone posts a TikTok, it goes viral, and they make $20,000 overnight. But for the majority of people, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to have enough sales volume of your digital products for it to be like truly passive or significant income.
So for an example, if you love beauty or if you're in the makeup niche, you can create a course on bridal makeup. And if you can commit to one of these businesses, you can literally bring in an additional $5,000 to $10,000 a single month.
Again, sure you can, but is it likely? Maybe I'm just a pessimist, but I'm going to say no.
If you have $20,000 in debt, you can just sell 2 things for $10,000. Instead of thinking, who the hell pays $10,000 for anything, the right question to ask is, how can I deliver enough value so that people would want to pay me $10,000? Business owners are the best people to go to sell something that's a high price. For example, if they want to get more sales calls for their business and they're used to paying $250 to get a sales call booked through running ads or different avenues, then you would just need to get them 40 sales calls and they'd be happy. People spend tons of money on online coaching and consulting. So when you package your knowledge up in a high-end coaching program, people are really willing to invest money in that. I've seen crazy coaching programs being sold. Certifications to become a dog walker, a specific way to do CPR, which then gets sold to hospitals. So if you have 20K in debt, add some value to the marketplace, sell to business owners, and then you can easily wipe away that 20K in debt.
Okay, I don't know if you have seen this video I did here. It's a reaction video from quite a while ago. But in that video, I feature a particular coach that essentially tells you the way to price your products or services in your business is based on how much money you want to make in a year. You take that number, you divide it by how many weeks you want to work, how many hours in a week you want to work, and so on and so on. And then eventually you will calculate your hourly rate. Now, this is problematic for the very obvious reason that you're not actually pricing your product or service based on the true value of that product or service, and instead you're pricing it based on your own desire to make however much money. And this video that we just watched is essentially giving me the same vibes, because it's like, you're $20,000 in debt. Well, the way to get out of debt is to charge 2 people $10,000. How can you make $10,000? And while she did touch on okay, if the person values, a sales call at $250 and you can get them 40 sales calls, that's worth 10 grand. Sure, but the general premise of the video, and at least the perception I have of it, is more so
focus on how much money you want to make and then price a product at that price so that you can get yourself out of debt.
And so it really just comes back to, what is the intention that this person has when they price their product? Are they pricing it based on that because it's actually valued at that much money? Or are they pricing it based on the fact that they want to make a certain amount, or their coach charges so much, so then they should charge that much? It really just creates this narrative and sort of this circumstance in which a lot of these people, in my opinion, have very overinflated price tags on products and services that are simply not worth that amount of money. Okay, so I have the sound turned off on this one just because it is copyrighted music, but it just says, here's how to make $1 million per year and proof that I made that much. This is for you if you have a coaching business that you want to scale. 3 stages explained below. So let's go ahead and read the caption. This is the actual game plan I followed. Stage 1, one-on-one clients. Charge $1,500 for 3 months. Break it up into 3 monthly payments of $500 or even 6 months at $297. Your client gets a 1-hour Zoom coaching session with you each week. Don't worry about scalable at this stage. Sign 7 clients at this rate, then raise your prices every 3 clients until you're selling 3 months of coaching at $3,000. Focus on building up one social media platform while doing this. I recommend Facebook or Instagram. Okay, again, I'm a broken record at this point, but this is really oversimplifying the process. I think if it was easy enough for people to find 7 clients to pay them $1,500, we would have a lot less people struggling to get their businesses off the ground, whether it's in the coaching industry or not. Finding people to buy whatever it is you're selling is not as simple as just showing up and selling that thing. Again, you need to have an audience that trusts you and sees you as an expert in order for them to want to spend any amount of money on you. And so to say the easiest way to make $1 million is to just start selling a coaching service, I don't know. I think it really just oversimplifies the fact that A, again, are you an expert or are you not in the thing that you're teaching? And B, are there people that actually want to pay you for that service? Now, I will give her credit that as a business owner of any kind, it's really important that you do only focus on one social media platform at a time. All too often, I see people simultaneously trying to grow on Instagram, grow on TikTok, grow on YouTube, when the reality is the easiest way to be successful on social media, coming from someone who has been using social media for business for over 6 years now, pick one platform at a time, grow there, and then move elsewhere. Don't try to overwhelm yourself all at once. That's your lesson for today. Why am I whispering? I don't know. Stage 2, group coaching. Teach what you taught all those one-on-one clients, but in a group setting. Charge $3,000 per head for 3 months. Okay, wait, so we're charging more money now for less high-touch service. Someone in the comments, please explain to me how this is justified. In what world and what industry, honestly, would I pay more money for less one-on-one support? This doesn't make sense. Anyway, put no more than 8 people in each group program and enroll them every 3 months. Now you're making $24,000 each quarter or $8,000 per month. Again, super oversimplification of what this process actually looks like as a business owner. Keep building that same one social media platform until you have at least 50,000 followers. That could take you literally years to do. If you want to get to 1 million, proceed to step 3. Stage 3, scale. Make a course that compiles everything you've been teaching via group coaching. Charge $1,000 for it. Why? Is it actually worth that? Again, if we come back to this conversation about value, about charging people what the value of your actual product or service is it actually worth $997? Or did you just arbitrarily pull that price out of the sky because you wanted to make $1 million? Because that's what it sounds like to me. How on earth could you tell everyone,
Make a course and charge $1,000 for it?
you don't even know what my course is going to be on? How do you know that it's going to be worth that? Ugh, this makes me so angry. Sell it via webinars, send your massive audience to it, eventually run ads. This is how I hit 1 million. Great.
It worked for me, it'll work for you.
I'm sorry, I can't. I can't with the grift anymore, you guys. I just can't. By the way, if you're enjoying this content, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. We are on our way to 15,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Okay, this next one is actually an Instagram carousel that I saw yesterday. And as soon as I saw the title, I was like, I got some guesses about what's going to be going on here. And sure enough, as I swiped through, I was right. So let's get into it. 5 ways to make $10,000 in the next 30 days as a photographer. Now, something I've been talking about a lot in my videos recently is this idea that a lot of people make more money teaching people how to do a thing that they used to do. So there was one of my videos where they had brought up hairdressers, I think it was, and it was like, if you want to make $10,000 as a hairdresser, start teaching other hairdressers, how to build a successful hairdressing business. And so no one's actually making $10,000 being a hairdresser. The ones that are making $10,000 are the ones teaching other people how to build their hairdressing business. So as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, I bet you there's going to be something involved with like teaching other photographers how to build a photography business. Let's just wait and see. So first up, we have reach out to past clients. I'm not going to read the paragraph here. You can pause to read it if you want to see. But yeah, that works. When I had my yoga business, I would follow up with past one-on-one clients occasionally to see if they wanted to rebook a private session with me. I think that's a great approach as a business owner to follow up with people who have purchased from you in the past. Lots of large scale businesses do that. I don't think it's a secret. I buy a lot of Lululemon, and what does Lululemon do? They email me every few weeks being like, hey Danielle, here are some items you might like based on your past purchases. They are essentially reaching out to me, a past customer of their business, to try and get me to make another purchase. This is an effective strategy that works, and I absolutely agree that if you want to make more money in your business, reaching out to what we would call your warm audience, people who have already purchased from you, is a viable option to pursue. Next, we have offer a Black Friday special. Again, along the same lines, this is a great way to get people maybe who are on the fence with purchasing whatever it is that you're offering, offering a discount code, offering some kind of special rate to get them to kind of tip over the scale and make that purchase. Nothing wrong with that. Next, we have open one-on-one coaching spots. It's time to share your knowledge and skills with other photographers. Reach out to any photographers that have ever asked to pick your brain and offer them a 6-month coaching spot. 6 months. Why? We're not even starting with like one-off coaching sessions. We're offering 6 months. That seems absurd. Announce on social media that you have a limited number of spots, scarcity marketing, available for photographers that are ready to scale this year. Okay, one of my internet friends over on Instagram, who is a copywriter, shared a post the other day, and I'll pop it up on the screen here. But basically, she was talking about how to utilize scarcity marketing in a way that is ethical. And so if any of you have followed me over on Instagram for any amount of time, you might have seen sometimes I'll post stories, usually around the beginning of the month, where I'll essentially say, I've opened 5 one-on-one coaching spots for the month of August, for example. I literally did this last week. And so with that, I actually open 5 spots in my calendar. Once those spots are booked, they're gone. I don't do this as a means of like scaring people into wanting to purchase from me, so much as I'm a busy person with things to do and I don't have time to be talking to 10, 15, 20 people a month. And so each month I open 5 spots. If they sell, that's great. If they don't, it's whatever. But in this, because she is essentially saying,
mention that you have a limited number of spots.
you don't know. You don't know that photographer's schedule. Maybe they don't have a limited number of spots. Maybe they want to take on as many clients as possible. To me, it sounds like her intention is to use that sort of like scarcity mentality to almost like trick people into signing up. And maybe, again, I could just be being a negative Nelly.
Okay, Kyle, you're being a negative Nancy. Stop it. Okay, unless you want everyone to call you Negative Nancy from now on.
But I don't know. It just seems weird to me to like tell someone to pretend you have a limited number of spots when you don't know if they do have a limited number of spots or not. And like I touched on before, the whole like offer them a 6-month one-on-one coaching thing is weird. And again, this comes from someone who offers consultations. I work with clients usually on a 4, 6, or 8 week basis, but I don't immediately pressure them to sign up for 8 weeks with me. It's usually like, let's work together for 4. If you enjoy working together, we can assess at the end of the 4 weeks and decide if we want to continue on together. Because just like when you go to see like a doctor or a chiropractor or some kind of health professional, sure, they can diagnose you, but they don't know how long you're going to need to be consistently treated in order for your ailments to get better. And I like to approach coaching or consulting from the same perspective. We can meet and we can talk about what hurdles you're facing in your business, but I'm not going to know after our first meeting that
we need to meet every week for the next 6 months in order to come to a resolution.
Like, that's not realistic. There's so many variables that come into play to like pre-diagnose that you're going to need to work together for 6 months. Seems really weird to me. But again, I know that this is practice that is so common in the coaching industry that theoretically I understand why this person is suggesting it, but in practice, it doesn't really make sense in my opinion. So next it says create an online shop. Do you have a welcome guide that you send all your clients? What about an investment guide or presets? Do you have a proven workflow or email sequence that you use with all your clients? It's time to turn those resources into templates for other photographers. Create a simple online shop on your website and use ThriveCart to sell them. Use the link in my bio for a discount code. So, okay, sure, sell templates that you have if it can make someone else's life better, but I wouldn't promise this as a way that you're going to make $10,000 in a month, as I've already addressed in this video. Next, create a mini course. Have you cracked the code on something in your business that many photographers struggle with? Do you have a proven blueprint that you've used in your own business to have success? You could quickly create an online mini course that you walk through the steps you've taken to help fast track others' results. Use Loom to record the lessons and then upload them to ThriveCart Learn for your students to log into. Again, stop actually being a photographer. And if you want to reach $10,000 a month in your photography business, just make a course teaching other photographers how to build a successful photography business. We hate it here. Okay, so this video is captioned, money is an energy, it's your energy. It comes into your life based on the person that you are being. If you are being authentically you and showing yourself unconditional love, it will stay in your reality and keep coming. If you are unhappy and not showing yourself love or being authentic, it may come into your reality, but it won't stay because you keep repelling it. Choose where you give your energy and who and what you give it to. Anyone who knows me and who knows my content, I have absolutely no patience for these people that want you to believe that the secret to getting rich, the secret to success, is to just believe your way into vibrating money into your frequency. I have this video here that explains specifically why I don't believe manifestation is real. And I also have this video right here that talks more about the quantum mechanics, quantum physics vibration argument that a lot of these people like to use to tell you that that's how you're going to get rich. So feel free to watch either of those videos. I'll have them linked down below as well if you want to learn why I think this is a crock of you know what.
You notice how peaceful your life gets as you make more money? You don't give a fuck about the craziness anymore. You don't give a fuck about the drama. You don't feed into or subscribe to any of the bullshit that you may have subscribed to previously. And this is another reason why your money went up. Because your energy changed. Because you are putting boundaries up, valuing your time and yourself, loving yourself more by not putting yourself around certain people or in certain situations. Money is just a frequency. It is your energy and it is responding to you. Money is who you're being. So the more you take care of yourself, the more you value yourself, the more you show yourself unconditional love, the more that you are going to see money stay in your reality or come into your reality. It's just your energy.
So the only reason people are poor is because they hate themselves. That's sarcasm, by the way, but that's the message that I'm essentially taking from this video, because she's basically saying that
If you believe in yourself and you love yourself and you believe you're worthy of wealth, then you will be wealthy.
when the reality, the real world that most of us live in, this is not true. I can practice all of the self-love in the world. I can think that I am the greatest person on earth, and I can have so much appreciation for myself and my effort, but that's not going to be the thing that makes me rich at the end of the day. Like, why do these people believe that they are entitled to being wealthy just because they love themselves? I just cannot support this narrative. It makes me angry. Everything in this video is making me angry. I'm gonna need to go for a nice long walk once we're done here. Ooh, I'm losing it.
With you in my online coaching or service-based business, if I wanted to hit consistent 10 to 20K months, buckle up, Miss Ma'am. We got a series coming at you. This is part 1. We are talking all things what you need to have in your offers, your programs, your courses, your membership, essentially every way that people can buy from you. This is what I want you to have in place if you want to hit those consistent 10 to 20K months. Number 1, keep the doors open to your sales. This was one of like the biggest light bulb moments I had. I was asking for consistent sales, for daily sales, but I was like, there's literally no way for someone to buy from me every single day. So, Miss Ma'am, if I go to your profile and I want to buy from you, can I literally check out and buy from you today? If the answer is no, let's start opening the doors to your sales. So this can look like having something that is passive, whether that is a course people can purchase and go at their own pace. Maybe it's a digital download. For me personally, in my business, I have a membership. So no matter what day of the week it is, if I'm sleeping, if I'm paddleboarding, if I'm out with Skittles, you can buy from me and enroll into my membership. Everyday sales, everyday offer. Number 2, you need to start looking at how you can increase your monthly recurring revenue. So tomorrow is August 1st. What is the money coming in for August that you already know? As an example, if I do nothing in August, which I won't, but if I do nothing, I will have a almost 16.2K cash month by doing nothing. That is recurring revenue coming in from current clients, from payment plans. So starting to look at, do I have something set up, offers or services that is more mid to higher ticket, where I can start implementing payment plans?
More importantly, do I have the skills or expertise necessary to have a product that is worth needing a payment plan?
This allows you to not only not operate in that like launch to launch mentality. If you need to launch a program in order for you to make money, you don't have like that leeway in between. We gotta fix that. Number 2, 3, I see this all the time. Miss Ma'am, do your prices make sense? Do your prices make sense? If you want, let's say, a 15K month, do you have prices that actually reflect supporting that goal?
Again, that comes back to intention. Are your products or services priced based on what they're actually worth, or are they priced based on how much money you want to make? Because to me, it sounds like you are making your prices up based on the fact you want to make $15,000 this month.
I see so many women and they have like a $97 offer, and I'm like, okay. So if you have to show up to calls, if you have to Voxer or Slack or message back with clients, do your offers support hitting a 15K month? Do your prices make sense?
So you're telling me that a one-on-one call or the option to send voice notes through Voxer is worth way more than $100?
So this is either raising our prices or having something that has no cap. As an example, a membership. My membership is $97. I can have 150 people that join tomorrow. It's no extra work off my back. Number 4, having a client journey. So actually sitting down and being like, the beginner person that I want to be working with, what offer do they come into? And once they've gone through that offer, they've had the transformation, they've overcome the pain points, what's the next step that comes up in that particular journey? Do I have an offer set up for that? And then once they go through there, what's the next offer? If you don't have those set up in your business, I promise you, Miss Ma'am, your clients are going to find somebody that does.
Okay, that last piece is not wrong. You should have a value ladder in your business, especially if you're a service-based business, you know, like a low touch, hands-off offer. Then once the client kind of moves through that, they can move into something a little bit more personalized one-on-one. Then, you know, maybe they can move on from there. But again, knowing the context of the coaching industry and what a lot of these offers offers tend to look like. It's like,
come into my $97 a month membership and then sign up for my $3,000 a month mastermind and then buy my $15,000 a month one-on-one coaching.
I just know too much to be able to support this in this context, but the actual principle itself is not wrong. I will say that. Okay, we have one more video to react to. Before we do so, I do want to give a shout out to my channel VIP members. Thank you so much for being here. If you're interested in learning more about my channel membership, you can click the join button down below. Let's go ahead and give it a watch.
This is a sign that you're going to be rich very, very soon. And by soon, I mean on the brink, cusp, the tipping point basically before exponential growth. And I see this synonymously across all the different entrepreneurs that I know. I've seen it play out in myself. And this is something that happens right before they find their winning formula in the entrepreneurship journey. So just before this tipping point, you would have been somewhat more of a consumer. You would be listening to all these podcasts, reading all these books, basically consuming all of this knowledge in the hopes that there is an answer somewhere within there. And this answer is what is going to bring you success. So essentially, you're approaching all of this as though the answer is not within yourself, but somewhere else. At the moment, as soon as your mentality finally catches up with you and realizes that what you're aiming for is actually within yourself, you switch over to what I like to call the producer mentality. You all of a sudden listen to less podcasts. You read books when you need to put a strategy in place or when you need to learn something specific. This is ultimately something that you do to keep an open mind because you know that you don't have all the answers. But the manner in which you're doing this is to upgrade your own system because you know you have all the fundamentals you need within yourself. And then what you're trying to do from these extra learning materials is to absorb them and kind of just create a version 2.0 of yourself. By this point, you developed enough self-trust to know that you have all the things that you need to actually get yourself to where you want to be. And that also means that when you finally switch over to that producer mentality, you no longer let yourself be hindered by your fears and your doubts. You keep moving forward despite them. I guarantee you, every single time I've seen someone switch over to their producer mentality, so the source of their solutions is going to come from them, not someone else, I've seen them make crazy changes within the next few months.
Sure, but is that going to make me rich? Because the start of your video said, this is how I'm going to get rich. Again, I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over and over again in every video that I do, but sure. Achieving the things you want in life is going to require you to, yes, take some time to learn new skills and do your research, listen to podcasts, read books, etc. But there is eventually a point in time where you have to take those things you've learned and implement them into actionable steps that are going to work towards the goals that you're trying to achieve. However, just because I work towards something doesn't mean A, that I'm going to be successful, or B, that I'm going to make a ton of money doing that thing. The thing that videos like this fail to address is the fact that not everyone is going to be successful. There's also a level of luck associated with accomplishing things in life. I mean, let's look at my YouTube channel, for example. Lots of people have been messaging me ever since I grew from about 1,500 subscribers to now over 13,000 within a matter of a few months, asking like what the secret is to growing on YouTube, when the reality is a lot of it comes down to luck. Yes, I make pretty decent quality content, I would say. I have a fairly expensive setup. I have taken the time to learn how to use the equipment, how to edit, how to create quality videos that people want to watch. But at the end of the day, I had a video that went viral. That's the story. And while yes, if the video was poor quality and had bad audio and bad lighting and bad visuals, it wouldn't have gone viral. There is a level of like, I put in the work to create good quality content that was capable of going viral. I also think there is a level or element of luck that went into that happening. And I am fully transparent about that. So this idea that these people on the internet like to sell you on,
if you just work hard, you will be successful,
they really discredit the fact that there are privileges and things beyond our control that can ultimately lead to us being successful in our lives. And so on that note, I am officially irritated and I'm going to leave this video here. Again, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I have a new Google form linked down below where you can actually submit content for me to react to. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you with this video over here next. So take care, comb your hair, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.